Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Lewis, Lewis Speaks 2022, and today I want to talk to you about the importance of giving yourself credit. I realize that nobody is going to come find you. You have to find yourself. And part of finding yourself is giving yourself credit for the wonderful things that you do, and also giving yourself credit for the wonderful ideas that you have. I realize that oftentimes I sit at a table every single day, a table of professionals, and I realize that I come up with some wonderful ideas, but I oftentimes don't take credit for my ideas. And I see how other people have tried to plagiarize my ideas and not give me adequate credit for the ideas that I have. And I ask myself, wait a minute, why is that? It's because I don't give myself enough credit. And I ask myself, Lewis, what do you think is the barrier and the reason why you don't give yourself credit? It's because I've been taught that it's not polite to boast or to brag or to gloat. And so I become this humble person that downplays my strengths, my ideas, my insights. And I realize that this leaves room for other people to colonize my ideas, to come in and just take over, you know? And I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that anymore. I realize that that's dangerous. For me, that's dangerous. And I can no longer do that. So now I have chosen to give myself credit for every idea, every brainchild that I deliver at the tables that I sit at. I will give myself credit because it's important to give yourself credit and acknowledge what you bring to the table. I think, where there's a time and a place to be humble, and there's nothing wrong with praising yourself and celebrating your achievements, your ideas, your strengths. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to be a braggart. I'm not trying to, elevate myself above other people and be superior. It's not that. But I realize, though, I bring a lot to the table. I bring a lot to the table, and I need to honor those accomplishments. Because what I realize is that when you don't do that, you oftentimes start to question your purpose. You oftentimes ask yourself, what am I doing this for? Where am I going? Giving yourself credit helps you to keep track of where you're going and your purpose and your goals. You have to give yourself credit as to the progress that you're making and the steps that you're taking. And so from now on, I will show up and I will give myself credit. And I encourage everybody out there to give yourself credit too. You have to definitely, and even in the professional world, you have to show people what you bring to the table on a consistent basis. This is why we have performance evaluations. This is why we have reviews every 6 to 1 year, 6 months to 1 year, because a company wants to know what you bring to the table. And it's important that you are able to articulate that. And so you are your own company. You are your own boss. You are your own employer. You are your own building. You are your own establishment. So you have to perform these evaluations even within yourself. What do I bring to the table? And give yourself credit for everything that you bring to the table. Like me, right now, I know what I bring to the table. I bring to my table that I sit at every morning, I model peace, I model tranquility, I model appropriate relational dynamics, I model how to communicate effectively. I think that my team struggles with that on a regular basis, and I think that I'm there to model that. I also have wonderful insights when it comes to client care. So I definitely, I bring that wonderful insight into that table. And as the only Black social worker on a team of white social workers, nurses, and other professionals, I realized that I bring a unique perspective. You know, I offer some insight into how to treat communities of color. And that's a very unique insight. In fact, I think that's why they hired me, because they needed some diversity at this table. And so I bring that unique perspective. I bring wonderful insights into human motivation. And I definitely bring a lot to this table. And so I have to give myself credit and remind myself, wait a minute, Lewis, before you're sitting here trying to be like humble and downplay your abilities and always just wait for other people to acknowledge your gifts and your talents, you need to acknowledge your gifts and your talents. You need to give yourself credit. And so I have to constantly remind myself of that, because it's the tendency for me to kind of just wait for other people to give me that credit and that validation. And I can't do that no more. Self-validation is necessary. I encourage you to validate yourself, especially when we live in a world right now where, trying to find good people and trying to find people to validate you and support you is tough. You have to be your own support system. Because as you become your own support system and start to validate yourself, you'll start to realize that you attract other people who do the same thing. And you won't settle for less. You won't settle for someone who doesn't validate and underscore what you bring to the table. And so this is why you have to encourage yourself and give yourself credit on a daily basis. You have to. And it's not bragging. It's not thinking you're all that, thinking you're superior. It's not being arrogant. No. It's knowing your worth and knowing your value and refusing to settle for anything less, and refusing to downplay your gifts for anybody. There comes a point after a while where you just get tired of putting yourself on the back burner. You just wake up one day and you say to yourself, I'm tired of not getting the love and the accolades and the appreciation that I deserve. And when that moment comes, that's when you start to demand that you give yourself credit first and that others give credit where credit is due. And that's the thing, you're going to hold them accountable because you hold yourself accountable. So I encourage everyone out there to definitely start giving yourself credit for your accomplishments, your achievements, what you bring to the table. And own it. Own it. And I hope this video was helpful. If you have any comments, any thoughts, definitely hit the comment section. I'm really interested in your viewpoint and your experience. So definitely hit the comment section, definitely share if any of this resonated with you. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the year. Peace.